Today is Motivation Monday with your host, Drew Wishover, entrepreneur, published author, and owner of Inspired Business Group, along with his co-host and director of operation, Amy Maley. Thanks for tuning in, and let's join this episode of Title Talk. Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of Title Talk. My name is Drew.
My name is Amy.
We are so excited to be joined here today by Mel Tillman, who we are partnering up with on a event that we're doing here in December. And this is going to be so exciting, and to be part of this event. And I'm excited to hear about Almost Home, which is the organization that you are running, affiliated with, started. I got so many questions, I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to let you just go because you've got a lot to say.
I do. Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and I'm always excited to talk about Almost Home.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Then talk about Almost Home.
So if I can tell you a little bit how I got started and what my role is with Almost Home. So Almost Home Chicago is a really, when you think grassroots nonprofit organization, that is what Almost Home is. We operate in the communities that we serve. Really local to Oak Lawn, and that is the vicinity that I live in. Yeah. And a few years ago, I started following Almost Home Chicago because Sarah Galvin, our executive director, was out there serving the community that I could also see there was a need for. And I was like, I want to do something. Well, Sarah's already doing it. Let's go see what Sarah's doing. And 2021, COVID, etc., made me leave corporate,
Sure.
the corporate world. I needed to do something that kind of filled my cup a little bit more. Yeah. And while I was out of work, I was like, let's go help Almost Home, right? Yeah. I'm gonna make use of all of the experience that I have. And as fate would have it, their board president was resigning at the same time, and I was in the office, and we just kind of talking about the things I wanted to do. And within a month, she asked me to be board president. So I serve as board president since March of 2021.
Oh, that's great.
Really
Congrats.
Thank you.
What did you do prior to that?
Worked in professional services.
Okay.
So I support enterprises in implementing big giant software.
Okay.
Right? Like
that
HR
totally
systems.
aligns up. Totally
Yeah.
aligns up.
So what I saw as the need was, wait, you're doing what on paper?
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
sorry, you're keeping track of what?
Yeah.
Via folders. So
Right.
that was what I knew when I said, I know what I can help with, and that is digitalizing everything that Almost Home does. So that just was a natural fit, and saying I had to jump all the way in to understand what they were doing, what Sarah was doing, and what her team was doing in order to, find the right solutions, etc. And I just fell in love with what they do, and what they're about.
Wow. That's a breath of fresh air to make a career change as big as it was, to going into something as different, but there's some synergies there, and the reality is that you kind of adapted to what those needs are and kind of made it your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to do what I'm really good at,
Mm-hmm.
but do it so it helps the most people.
Amen.
And that was
So
what
great.
this opportunity was going to let me do.
So great. So
That's
great.
great.
Yeah.
So Almost Home, how long has it been organization? What's kind of the background of Almost Home?
Sure. So Sarah officially started the organization as a 501c3 in 2015.
Okay.
And her story is as amazing as the next. She saw a need for individuals that were panhandling on the corner of a street, and she felt really called to help them, serve them, slept on it, I think actually even slept on it a couple of years, really, this
Wow.
idea in the back of her head. And then one day she was inspired.
Ding. Yes, the frivolous plug. That is the frivolous plug. Nice job.
I didn't even know that was a thing, by the way. Yeah.
Amazing. Nice job.
So she was inspired to do more, and so she raised money while standing on the corners that these individuals would stand on to
Wow.
raise the $1,200 to start her nonprofit organization, and those are just my kind of people.
I was
So
gonna say there's people like that out there. It's just
there are people like that out there. We've got a team of them, so I know they exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, the questions that we had for you, I kind of feel like I need to throw them out the window because it totally goes a certain way. You start to feel connected to a person in a certain way that the questions can go deeper because the depths of what you do is unbelievable. I mean, just some of the stuff that we were talking about before we went on, it just blew me away. I think a lot of people have a misconception of Almost Home and what Almost Home Chicago is all about. Can you get into a little bit more detail as to what is the kind of mission statement? What is it?
Yeah.
What is the reasoning behind it? What is it?
Yes. We exist to serve what we consider underserved populations in our community, and by our community I mean Palos Heights, Worth, Oak Lawn, Chicago Ridge, right? I live in Worth. My executive director lives in Hometown. Stretch a string across us, and that is our area. Everybody else that's on the team lives within that area, and we saw a need for people like us, our neighbors, people that are living on our streets that were losing their home. My brother lost his home many years ago. I lost a home. It's not a problem unfamiliar to people in this area. But it's a really scary and taboo and uncomfortable and embarrassing circumstances that a lot of people find themselves in. And we're all motivated to be the support and resource for folks that are experiencing homelessness. So that's, you're about to be homeless, right? Maybe you have an eviction notice or something. Anybody who suffers from food insecurity, that's whether you're sheltered, unsheltered, from our service area. If you are hungry, we will feed you. And we got a couple programs that we do that through pantries, and we also make dinner for anyone in our community. Anyone in our community can come have dinner with us every single Saturday, right in Oak Lawn. And then our population that suffers from addiction. So that is it is rampant and has only increased and become more of a comorbidity to COVID and the pandemic that's happening. Opioid overdose is on the rise. Overdoses are on the rise because of what is happening in that world.
So that obviously that's a very good point, and it's a kind of a nice segue into a conversation a little bit about that. The addiction piece is pretty broad. There's a lot of things. Is there anything specific that you won't take or talk or speak to as far as when it comes to addiction? Are you kind of in one lane with that, or are you open to multiple factions of addiction?
Yeah. I personally and the team of Almost Home, we are comfortable in uncomfortable discussions, right? So the fact of the matter is this is not comfortable stuff to talk about. And if you are the person suffering from this, or it's your spouse, or it's your kid, there is so much shame that comes with that. And because we all know that, actually our director of addiction services does all the outreach, leads this kind of area, has lost her son to opioid overdose. So we are all really intrinsically motivated to do better, and to do better, we have to be willing to have, whatever the conversation is, meet the person wherever it is that they are at. That's really important to what Almost Home does, right? We don't have necessarily rules and restrictions around how and when it is that we'd support you. Ideally, we will step up and do whatever, move mountains to get you the support you need to get better. But we try, it's a fine line to walk on what is enablement and what is support. But we provide life-sustaining services, and people that are addicted to drugs deserve those services. So, harm reduction.
Yes, props.
Q sign.
Yeah. Now, what I'm curious, is this reversed? Are people gonna actually be able to read this?
No,
Yeah.
okay,
you're
Okay,
good.
you
It's
are
not
good.
reversed.
Fancy.
Yeah, you're good.
No.
Harm reduction saves lives. That, right, I know it's a big bucket to talk about addiction services, and even harm reduction is a big bucket. The way Almost Home does our harm reduction is through Narcan training and, of course, availability distribution. So we are a program participant with the state of Illinois. They supply us Narcan. We can distribute that Narcan to the community. So that is through trainings. We host trainings at the church, we host trainings at other locations, and with that training comes, here is a kit. Other side.
More props, stand by.
So I actually had to give out my Narcan, but we all travel with Narcan in a distribution kit that tells you how to use Narcan in the event of an overdose, if you stumble upon an overdose. And of course, preparing like people, so we're aiming at the schools, the high schools, to get in. If I think of my DARE prevention training many years ago, the fact of the matter is we didn't really talk about overdoses because that wasn't really what we were dealing with in the world at the time.
Don't do it.
Right, don't
Yeah.
do it. Well,
Right.
that didn't work.
Right.
So now we need to say, I know you're doing it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure you're the safest that you can be because I'd like you to stay alive. And that's it, right? And so whether that means you need clean needles, whether that means you need Narcan every single week because you're, really high risk, like I don't care.
Right.
And our team doesn't care. Let's just get you the support you need so that you stay alive.
Wow. Again, we're talking to Mel Tillman from Almost Home, and they're a great organization, and they're very, very involved in the community. And what if you've heard anything from this thus far, it's not the community that is beyond where we are right now. It's the community that we're currently in, and to kind of digest that and just let that kind of settle for a minute. It is everywhere, and we are prone to thinking that it's just in the city of Chicago or it's in some lower income areas and things, and you're here to tell us that, oh no, it's right around us.
It is right around us, and I, by my day job, is
You have a day job?
Oh, definitely. Yes. So
What don't
as a
you
board
do?
president, I'm a volunteer, right? IRS does
Right.
not like board members to get paid,
Right.
right? So
Right.
my day job to pay my bills is data analyst,
Okay.
and I like data, and I knew.
That's why you and Chris get along so well.
Uh-huh.
He's a data man.
So we understand each other. Looking at the data about addiction and opioid overdoses, what is it we're trying to do? We're trying to keep people alive. We're trying to serve basic needs and keep people alive. So how many people are not being kept alive? Because isn't that the audience that I need to be working on?
Right.
So the data that is available out on all of the governmental websites basically references 2020 census.
Yeah, right?
It's 2022, no harm, no foul, I'll do it myself. So I went to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office
Oh, no.
website and built myself a custom report because that database, it's public information, death certificates.
Yeah.
Wrote some queries to monitor overdose deaths in essentially 10 towns, which all are the towns that happen to fall within our service area.
Right.
So I monitor opioid overdose deaths in where we operate out of, which is Oak Lawn, in a big 5-mile-ish radius around there. And at the time that I ran it last, Oak Lawn unfortunately was still leading in overdose deaths for this area. Sadly, I had run the report right after I lost a friend to an overdose in Worth. Worth had one, and it was someone I knew. Yeah, it just hits you, right?
Yeah.
This is happening. This is happening in our community, and the communities that maybe for a while could have said it wasn't happening, it wasn't.
Yeah.
All that means is it was happening outside of our purview. That didn't mean it wasn't happening because look at where we're at.
Yep. Wow. I mean, that's just staggering to hear that it's that close to home, number one, and that it is a lot of people, and we've had some mental health folks on here, which have been really great to kind of identifying this. Addiction is a problem. It's a disease. It's not like it. People don't get it. That it's just shake it off. Or you have stress, or you're depressed. Just shake it off. These are neurological mental illnesses. These are problems, and it's so hard to get that communication and education to the community to help them understand that no, little Joey and little Susie have an issue, and we, they're not going to just grow out of this.
Yeah.
Right? Is there education that you guys are kind of participating in, you know, or are you kind of on the other side of that, the rescue side?
I would say we're trying to, if I thought reactionary versus proactive, we're trying to certainly get ahead of the overdose deaths, but our organization tends to serve those that are in it or those that are impacted after the fact,
Okay.
right? So it's who's left behind after that is experienced. However, what we're trying to do now is we're trying to get into the schools, right? Get into the high
Yeah.
schools
Yeah.
to have these conversations. And believe it or not, there's going to be folks that don't want to hear this, but they know what's happening and their friends are using drugs. Okay, so I have a son, I have nephews. They're using drugs. So again, rather than bury my head in the sand, let's make sure that those kids have access to what they need to make sure that they can keep their friend alive. Because what I also know is a lot of people who have been present for people dying. And I don't want that
Right.
for any of my people.
No.
And especially my kid or my nephews. So we do provide some education. One, just in a social media perspective, we are constantly trying to share our perspective, share our side of things. In addition to what I call Narcan training is actually more than just learning how to use Narcan.
Sure.
It is understanding addiction.
Right.
And I don't know that everyone else on the team would say this. I am very confident in saying addiction, right? We always used to say addiction is a disease. And while I agree that it is also a symptom of a problem. And very, very, very often, and I will get these numbers one day, how many addicts have suffered trauma
Right.
and how those two things are so
There has to be
intertwined.
a huge correlation.
So there definitely is, right? If I just count all of the people I know that are suffering from addiction,
Yes.
I can tell you 99%
I
of
was
them,
gonna say,
I know of their trauma,
Yes.
right? So,
above 90.
Yes.
so finding that intersectionality of those two things and saying like, I can't go backwards, we can't go backwards and undo the trauma, but the mental health support
Sure.
is so critical
Yes.
to helping people process through all the things that have to be processed through in order to get them clean. Somebody that has never sat down and started processing their trauma, it's not likely it's going to be really successful them just jumping into a program and not doing
Try to
drugs
fix
ever
it.
again, right?
Right.
Because
right.
they didn't heal what was necessarily there.
Right.
Insurance covers 28 days in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
All the people in the addiction community and harm reduction community know it takes at least 90 days to kick a habit. So
What the heck
we'll
is
cover
it?
30 days, but you're on your own for the
Good luck.
rest. Do you know how expensive those places are?
Dude.
And there aren't enough of them. They're all overstaffed. So I don't actually even remember what the question was on that. 'Cause that's what happens. I get on these soapboxes. I'm
No,
so
it's-
passionate
no, but
about it.
you were
got us
following
there.
a train. We were riding with
Yeah,
you.
you got us there. You got us there. Go ahead. I mean, wow. I'm going to continue saying wow because I just think that the organization and what they're doing is so powerful and so needed, and to say thank you for what you're doing and the efforts that you and the team are actively putting forward. I mean, guys, this is real stuff that's happening out there. This is real life conversation. If you guys need to get in touch with Mel, her information is there on the screen. Please do it. If you know somebody that needs help, if you know somebody that can benefit from any or maybe just you want to kind of vent some things and see if they can help you out.
Right.
Yeah, can I tell you about a couple more things?
Yeah, please. We're not
so-
near done yet.
Yeah,
Follow them on Facebook too, BT
Yes.
Party.
Yes.
It's a
Um,
very, very fun.
I love to engage our community as much as I can. We just had a really successful fundraiser that we ran on
Was
Facebook.
this a sweater? A
That
scarf?
was a component of it.
Okay.
Yes. I snuck in the office while Sarah wasn't there to put on her shawl, trying to channel her because we were competing for who could get more donations.
Okay.
So we, no joke, came in within dollars of each other. All together raised like $8,900 or something.
Nice.
She was like 4,300. I was like 4,100. That's not math, but we were really close.
And her data is the data. It might be real here. Their data
I was
is.
missing one of my props.
Oh.
That's the problem.
Okay, so Mel's data
Yeah.
may or may not be perfected yet.
Yes. So love social media. Please follow us on social media.
Yes.
Facebook is definitely our most active. We just started posting, trying to get more active on Instagram, and we did start sharing on LinkedIn. So
Okay.
also LinkedIn.
Great.
Just have to remember to do it every time something happens.
That's the part that's hard.
It's
I'm
hard.
good with the Facebook part, but like
So
the
remember
LinkedIn
it.
is where I can go.
But the Facebook part is rough in that we want to be growing the audience, and
Definitely.
unfortunately, each of these social media is existing, right? There's a right fit for everybody, and we're the younger generation isn't necessarily on
Nope.
Facebook, and if
Right.
we're trying to make sure the younger generation knows what's happening,
Do
we
you
gotta find
TikTok?
other ways.
Right.
I watched TikTok, created some videos, panicked, deleted them. And so you'll find me on TikTok with just a picture and no videos because I was like, oh my god, no, I don't wanna see that forever.
Because those are the young people. sadly.
Exactly, and they have no problem saying something without being able to edit it. And usually I need at least like a 7-second delay. Yeah.
A prop.
Yeah. So yes.
Oh, you were talking about your fundraising.
Yes.
that you're-
Okay. So we just recently did that fundraiser competition. Lots of fun. We like to have fun on social media. The website is also, we try to keep that pretty up to date. And on the website we have there's a couple things that folks can benefit from. Certainly, we put information out there about what's happening, what events are going on. You know, what I'm seeing in the numbers, what Narcan trainings are going to be offering. But we have a Share Your Heart Memorial. So obviously I shared with you, we're pretty impacted by losing folks to opioid overdoses. And so I established a Share Your Heart Memorial that stays on display in our office. So even if somebody just wants their loved one to be remembered, there's a form you can fill out online. We write their name and the date that they passed away on a little wooden heart. And we do a little thing once a month at our board meeting, put those in the memorial, and then that stays on display in our office and travels with us to Narcan trainings. So people that are at the trainings can take advantage of it. Additionally, Stone Soup Kitchen, we have some, generally speaking, as we have dates for volunteer side of Stone Soup Kitchen, that's done through social media. It's just people, I'm thankful our supporting community is so gracious and ready to help at a moment's notice. So they get filled up pretty fast. It doesn't even make it to a secondary platform to get open. So Facebook, if anybody wanted to sign up for Stone Soup Kitchen, volunteering to serve our friends dinner, and I just left the office. Drum roll. We are opening a second day. And it will be effective January 2023. We got approved for a second day by the church we operate within.
That's awesome.
And so we are going to be serving dinner on Tuesdays and Saturdays,
That's so
which
great.
we have gone a step further to make sure that that is actually in alignment with, another drum roll, we heard shelters. Some shelters are going to be opening back up this year. They
Oh.
closed for COVID.
Yep.
Folks have been sleeping on the streets or in hotels, and there's only so many hotel rooms.
Right.
We've spent $30,000 putting friends in hotels over the last couple of years. I've been involved. So, definitely information, apply for support can be done on there. So, if I can give you an example of a scenario that we have, we're trying to find some support for a friend. We call our friends guests
Yeah.
if they're at Stone Soup Kitchen.
Okay.
So one of our friends that we recently helped secure some funding for housing. So if an individual has the house lined up, right, they're approved, everybody's good, and they're like, money is the problem. Green paper is the problem. We try to step in, raise those funds to alleviate that component. So we just did that. We did that. $1,500 we raised to match what somebody put together so that she could get a home with her
Right.
kids. The Halloween shooting that just took place,
Yes.
her son was a victim, and he's on life support. She's busy worrying about that, having just gotten into the home that has nothing in it except her 2 kids living in it with blankets. So while I'm here, my executive director is going to this house. We're gonna try to figure out what she needs. So it's like, we have a need, we just have to go out there, find all the resources that we can find to help individuals on a very customized basis, right?
Right.
What this person in this family needs right now, hopefully they would not need in 5-6 months, right? It's a completely different level of support. And sometimes some of the other nonprofits, right, all you can focus on is shelter. All
Yep.
you can focus on is paying electrical bills or
Yeah.
water bills, right?
Yeah.
We try to, like, the whole person, what is it they need, their
Yep.
family,
Yep.
to stay alive, to stay sheltered, to have food in your belly, right? We're talking Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yep.
These are
Yeah.
basic needs
Basically,
that people shouldn't need to be worrying about.
And I'll say this, drum roll too, that if there is something that you guys need, feel free to reach out to the team here at
We are
Inspire.
now,
Appreciate that.
yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
We are all in supporting what is going on in the community around us. The mission that you guys are absolutely doing is brilliant, and I think that as you kind of gather the information that is needed for these individuals, certainly reach out to
Appreciate
the
that.
team here at Inspired, and we're definitely gonna come out and volunteer in
Yes.
the soup kitchen. That is
No doubt.
Awesome.
definitely gonna be something we're gonna do.
It's a
But-
really life-changing
you know,
experience.
Oh,
It's-
it's,
it is.
and I, that's part of what we stand for as a company. It's bigger than us. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, I mean, yes, it's important to have, business and sales and keep everybody's families going, but it's doing something that is bigger than what we do each and every day. And community is something that is very important to me and something that I'm trying to, I've definitely done it, instilling it into the team of, what we are
Of
here.
course, yeah.
So, and Amy is absolutely just, on board, and obviously Chris is as well, I mean, the whole team is, and so when we see an opportunity to dive into something like this, we're there for you guys too, so.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely will, and again, that's why we partnered, with Almost Home for our event on December the 10th, that we're, all the proceeds, whatever we raise is going straight to them. That's why it's important for you guys to get involved in this opportunity to come out and give. It's the holidays, it's probably the, bigger time that people have generosity, but it's also the time that you go, okay, well, I expect it here, and where are you in February? Because, it's just like,
Yeah.
hey, I go to church on Christmas and
Christmas.
Easter.
Yeah.
Thanks,
The
you know?
Christers, yep.
And I'm just going, hey, let's just try to do this consistently throughout the year and not be just the, partial donors.
Ironically, Sarah and myself, and actually no one from the team attends church
Mhm.
because church does not happen in a church. It doesn't, right? That it's
outside.
a mindset. It's a belief. I am
Mhm.
spiritual. My executive director is very faithful, right?
Mhm.
It is bigger
You don't need to be in a
than
building
us,
for
right?
that,
You do not
yes.
need to be in a building for that. So,
Yeah.
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
If I can, my secondary prop lets me share where we spend our funds.
That's
And
great.
so,
So
as
good.
I shared, when I joined the organization in 2021, I said, I can't look through thousands of pieces of paper. I need to be able to click a button and know what
Show
it
me.
is that's happening. So, if it doesn't exist, I will build it. So that is what I did. And out of it, this is one of our, what I would call, results of doing that effort. So, I am able monthly, I monitor in each of the, what I would call service categories,
Okay.
and I'll walk through each of those. Each of these, we collect what it is we're doing. So in, the biggest one here, 1405 guests. By the way, this is outdated already because this is a month old.
Okay.
We created these for a fundraiser. We did that Shake the Can fundraiser.
Yeah.
At that time, just since January 2021, and our soup kitchen was open in October of, January 1st, 2022. Our soup kitchen opened in October of 2021, so that's not counted here. 1,400 guests, right? 1,400 meals we provided, and that it's actually more than 1,400 meals because we also give seconds. We send meals to go. People donate bagged lunches, etc. But we served through Soup Kitchen 1,400 guests. Let's jump to this 908 Loaves and Fishes. That is our on-site pantry.
Okay.
So we call them Loaves and Fishes closets. We have them throughout. This falls under our addiction services arm, if you will, but we have them throughout 5 other locations. 4 being one is ours at the church.
Mhm.
4 other ones, like we have one within Christ Hospital
Okay.
in Oak Lawn.
Okay.
Folks that stay at the clinic there for detox come with really what they have on them,
Right.
and what's in maybe their bag. So we supply in these Loaves and Fishes closet basic necessities. So clothes, underwear, socks, snacks, little puzzle books. whatever we do, we have 5 Loaves and Fishes closets. Christ Hospital, Chicago Ridge Nursing Home, right actually on Southwest Highway. And we just opened a brand new one, Victory Outreach in back of the yards in Chicago.
Okay.
Mainly because there was just such a need. There's so many individuals at that location, they couldn't sustain supporting them. And then the Guild House, which is a sober living home in Blue Island,
My
again.
grandma volunteers there.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
love the Guild House. Love the Guild
Yeah.
House. We get them Christmas. We adopt all the individuals there
Yeah, she
every
brings
Christmas.
food there once
Yeah,
a week.
love them. And then Alive Church, and of course I'm missing one. There's another one. There's 5 altogether.
Okay, got you.
This 204 people, so this is 204 individuals that we've serviced through our Walk With Me program. The Walk With Me program is really those folks who live on the street. So it is what shoes is a big thing. So I cannot tell you, if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see how many people come in wearing mismatched shoes of different sizes, right? They just need shoes on their feet. So whatever it is that individual needs, if you're homeless and you need shoes, we will get you shoes. We will get you pants. We'll get you a coat. We'll get you a tent. Those kinds of things, right? Again, very customized to what it is that these folks need. So since January 2022, that's 204 of our friends that we have needed to supply essentially survival, right? Survival items. This 70 here is financial assistance. So this really goes more toward, so the individual I shared with the son who was shot, that would really fall under financial assistance. We are gonna try to raise the funds for whatever it is that this individual needs. Other organizations that bigger, right? If we had a warehouse with furniture just sitting and waiting, right? So that's what we're gonna try to do, tap into other organizations that do each of those things to try to serve the whole person, but you gotta pay the rent, you gotta pay the bills, the cell phone. So we wanna make sure that while that family's going through that would all fall under there. This 46 addiction support, that is folks that we have provided some type of harm reduction services to. One of the big things is if someone is ready to go to detox and I can't get there, I can get you there.
Absolutely.
I'll get you there right now. I cannot tell you how many Uber rides we order for our friends, because when they are ready, let's remove
Get 'em.
the barriers.
Right.
They made the hardest decision.
Amen.
Yep.
Right? So that falls under there. And then this pink one, these are individuals that we have trained with Narcan. So this 75 is we've trained 75 people and we've given at least 75
That's great.
kits out to folks in the communities, and then as I said, this is Stone Soup Kitchen.
Yeah.
So again, a month old, just 2,700 times just since January, and we just got into the office last year.
Right.
Prior to all of that, right, since 2015, had 10,000 people really that need this kind of support in our community. So that's what we're doing, and it costs money to do all of those things. So fundraising is really critical to us. We try to start fundraisers for really specific scenarios, right? Our friend that is experiencing that right now with her kids, whatever money we try to raise, right, that's going to be for her to get started. When we had another individual who she could find the housing but couldn't afford the security deposit or the first month, she needed get settled, get a job. She had an adult son with some disabilities, right? It's whatever they need is what we're there to support on.
So if I may ask and it may be, I'll ask the question. In the home space, how deep into the process do you get with them? Meaning, we have a tremendous amount of connections with just what we do to assist in every area that they need to getting a home, with the exception of maybe just the home itself.
Right.
But once the home is kind of found,
Yep.
the process from there till the time they get in it, we can assist with that in its entirety.
I'd say that's on like the bigger scale. Then we'll talk through a scenario. We have folks who do need housing, but if you put them in a house and they tried to live by themselves, that they might not be very successful at that.
Correct.
So they're the folks who it is just a matter of finding the house. If they find the house, right, we don't, same
Yes.
with housing, right? We don't have, avenues into those things, so if they find it, we'll bring the resources we're good at bringing, and usually that is support,
Yep.
financial support, all the kitchen appliances or something, right? So, we're not in it enough, but for me, it's because at this point, we're not even in it for finding people temporary housing, let alone permanent housing, and that's what I think of when I think of, getting people established.
Yeah,
The folks we're serving are just maybe a few steps before
yes,
getting the
Yeah.
home,
yes.
right?
Okay.
I gotcha.
But then, of course, there are some folks like the woman that I was talking about. Situationally, that would be someone, she is ready to be in a home. That's actually what she secured for her and her family, right?
Right,
Other situations are now going to put her how far behind, right? So we don't have to necessarily worry about the house component. So it's a case by case basis, and we're
Yep.
usually a little bit before the
Okay.
getting them a house thing.
and it, again, I'll just extend that olive branch as well, if, put that service in your repertoire
Definitely,
to
yeah.
say, we have the professionals that can assist you in the home process.
Yeah,
And, kind of walk through that, and there's enough folks, and we have enough relationship value to say, hey, we're partnering up with this organization, and we're not looking at gouging this thing, we're doing this for a bigger purpose. It's not
so
just
that would be amazing.
financially, let's all get wealthy off this opportunity, that's not an option.
Because that is our concern, right? These are, when I say friends, I mean that. We care about these
100%.
people, and so thinking those are really big processes, right?
Yes.
I bought a house, I refinanced a house.
Yes,
It's difficult, and I would, I just appreciate that because I
Yeah.
would trust that our
Totally.
friends would be taken care of. So
and that's exactly, literally, it would be the hand-holding process of
Yeah.
not just going, oh, it's just another deal, let's go ahead and, expect that they're gonna understand and know it. No, we're gonna literally just take them by the hand and walk them through the processes, let them, introduce them to the parties that are necessary to get the transaction to the final point of
Yeah.
them living in that home.
yeah,
And I
that'd
think
be
that's important.
amazing.
Amy, you got any other questions that you wanna?
I mean, I guess like, what's the future look like for you guys?
Right, very good.
Yes, so we have a board meeting this upcoming week,
Okay.
Tuesday, and there's a couple things on what I would call our docket for trying to obviously get us through 2022, wrapping up with enough funds to cover Soup Kitchen. Now that we are planning, we're in the prep phases of getting ready for opening a second day. So definitely Soup Kitchen is like almost, we have the short term and the long term is volunteers, and sometimes we have the volunteers, but it costs a lot of money to feed
Yeah.
60 people.
Yes,
For
it
sure.
does.
So there might be an organization that would like to pay for the food, but they're not local, and so they can't come and serve type thing.
Right.
Would love additional people to kind of know that is happening as an opportunity there. So 2022 is Soup Kitchen. It is some basics is we need to get all of our friends haircuts. We need to get all of our friends winter coats. Unfortunately, we are limited on space, so we can't collect 200 coats in advance, right? Unless somebody was going to house them for us somewhere. Our garage is, filled with as much tubs as we can possibly store, and then we have some storage space at the church. So clothes upon request, ad hoc needs, food donations, so pantry, Loaves and Fishes Closet.
Yeah.
We are each December, it's a program called 31 Days of Giving. If you checked out our Facebook, it was a
Yep.
really, really big one last year. We do 31 Days of Giving through all of December. It's each day is a different item that our friends or our pantry has because our friends need, and then throughout the month and right as December ends, everybody brings those baskets to us, and that ended up giving us like 4 months worth of inventory
Holy
of
moly.
products
That's
to
Holy cow,
constantly
yeah.
keep our
Shelves.
shelves
Packed,
full.
yeah.
Yeah, so 31 Days of Giving. If folks are more, I want to buy the thing,
Yeah.
I want to buy the thing and bring the thing, right? We need those people too.
Right. Right.
And emergency housing. So I know the shelters are not going to house everyone. It's not possible. There aren't as many.
For sure.
But yet there's more homeless people.
Yep.
So, and for emergency housing, it is, we need to find hotels and motels that will rent to our friends. We had a really, really great, relationship with, a hotel in up towards Midway on Cicero, and they just got a contract with the state of Illinois for 200 immigrants to have to come and live there. That is coming here as sanctuary city. So we now have no rooms for where we would put our friends in December, January, and February. Basically, those really dangerous dip below you're gonna die if you live outside weather.
Yep.
We just have to be able to adapt to that as soon as that weather hits. And that's both from a financial perspective and please, if anybody knows of some place that would be willing.
Yeah.
And that's like the 2022 first quarter, 2023. And you know, now that we have our data and we just 2 months ago got our treasurer, we are gonna start building budget to look farther into 2023. But we're really in like we're so reactionary right now.
Yeah.
We're in like a
Right.
3 to 6 month.
Yeah.
All of our plans change.
This has just been a lot of information, and all of it is so good. And I think that what has been presented in the organization, what they stand for, what they're doing, the people they're helping, thank you is not enough. This is amazing, and we thank you for taking some time out of your day to come out here and share this scary reality with the audience, but I think they needed to hear it.
They did.
And I think it's something that, you know, if this doesn't motivate somebody, there is no motivation in them, because the reality is, you know, nothing feels greater than giving and helping. And it's something that is, unless you've done it, you probably don't know. I'm telling you right now, go do it. It is so fulfilling. And it's not to do it for that reason. But it is so good to give and just see the reactions on other people's faces that are receiving your generosity. And it costs you nothing in many cases.
Yeah. Profounding, if I have just a minute.
Yeah.
I couldn't attend our 1 year anniversary of Stone Soup Kitchen. We celebrated on October 22nd, 2022. I happened to be ill, couldn't attend. Beautiful pictures that I got afterwards, but I wanted the words, right?
Yeah.
What kind of things did you hear? What was the mood, etc. And Sarah shared with me that one of our friends who does live on the street came up to her and said that he's thankful for the last year of meals, and more importantly, every single Saturday he comes there feeling like we're excited to see him and he feels appreciated. These friends don't generally have people in their life that are excited to see them.
Right.
There is something so life transforming when you realize what might for me be 4 hours out of a Saturday
Right.
is life changing validation and acknowledgement for folks who have nothing.
Totally. And it's such a great thing. It's such a great organization. I want to read to you what a listener wrote to us here. It said, "Sign me up, team. I would love to volunteer with you all. Mel, thank you so much for all you and your team do and for sharing so much. As a clinician, I am so grateful and hopeful to hear about the support you provide." So
Amazing.
you're touching people, and I think that thank you for sharing that as well. And this is hopefully just a start to something big. And you know, the team here at Inspired is all in. We are supporting Almost Home, and we are going to become a lot of it more involved in what's going on
Thank you.
on a you know, regular basis. So you can count us in as a team member as well for somebody that supports you guys, because this is something that is amazing. Again, if you guys need to get a hold of Mel or anybody on the team, all the information is right above. I mean, if you miss it, you didn't see the props. I mean, come on. So please definitely, you know, reach out to them. They're again, I can't say it enough how great of a organization this is, and how much of a pleasure it was to have you come out here and share some time and some realities with some of the folks that I think they need to hear this on a Thursday, and a nice sunny Thursday as it is. So I know that Amy brings her emotion to this, and that's always a positive and good thing, because this is how we are. This is vulnerability, and we're touched by what is a reality, and what we're definitely affected by this. impacted by it, but we're also motivated to make a change and to be, to get up off of our rear ends and get involved into something that can make a difference.
Absolutely.
So thank you again for joining here, and thank you guys for tuning into this. Share this thing all over the social media pages. We're gonna send it to the team at Almost Home, so you guys can do the same thing as well.
Amazing.
And share this, because it's something that needs to be heard and said. So contact information is above. We thank you guys for tuning in to another week. Remember, December the 10th, we are going to partner with the team at Almost Home and put on our bowling fundraiser, where every dollar will go to this amazing organization. So we encourage that you guys sign up, reach out to the folks here at the Inspired Title team. We are happy to help you out. Until next week, everybody, have a great weekend. My name's Drew.
I'm gonna try to stop crying. My
Yep,
name is Amy.
yep, absolutely. Emotional Amy is over there.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you guys so much for tuning
No.
in. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.
Well, there you have it. That is it for this week's edition of Title Talk. Be sure to head over to our Inspired YouTube page and subscribe and like. And make sure you follow the team on Instagram and Facebook. Join us again next time for more tips and knowledge from the industry pros. Thanks again for listening.